Right, Jamie, it's Bristol Rovers. I know you played against them before, probably
Yep.
quite a few times, but first time for Cheltenham. And is it always special playing against a team like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to play against your old clubs, especially Rovers. It's obviously a team I grew up watching and obviously played for quite a while, and obviously still go and watch now. So yeah, I probably have a few friends in the crowd probably booing me and shouting at me. So yeah, it makes it a nice game for me.
Yeah, you started at Norwich, didn't you? But Rovers, would you see that as where your career really kicked off?
Yeah, I'd say so. It was sort of the first sort of club I was at where I managed to play regular and start scoring goals and probably made a name for myself. So yeah, I mean the Norwich bit was obviously early in my career, very young and just trying to make it. But once I went there, it seemed to work, and had 5 real good years there. Loved every minute, and obviously since then I've moved on and played for a lot of other clubs, but it's always a special club for me.
Yeah. What sort of response have you got from the crowd when you played against them in the past?
Early on when I left, very bad. It's gradually got better, I think, over the years. I think it's been 14 years, maybe 15 years since I left, so it's been a lot better. Sort of as the years have gone on, I still get a bit of booed and a bit of stick, but the early years were real bad. But it's calmed down a bit now.
Yeah. Have many of your 251 goals been scored against Rovers? Have you scored against them?
Yeah, I've scored. I scored last year, and I think the year before actually, or the year before that, I scored for Norwich and for Exeter. So yeah, I've managed to score against them a few times. I've not celebrated, which maybe helped with the sort of reception I get. But yeah, the results haven't been great. I lost both last year for Exeter, so it wasn't been great results. But hopefully tomorrow we can turn that around and get a good result.
Yeah, I don't know if you've spoken much to Rovers fans or anything, but they've improved a lot under John Ward last season, didn't they? And a lot of people expect them to kick on, but they seem to be struggling again. And
yeah, it seems the sort of story of their season so far over the last few years. They something seems to start. They start real bad. Manager seems to change, and then a new one comes in. They do very well at the end, and then the expectation goes up again, as it probably should for the size of the club, and then they seem to do the same things again, and they're in that position where they're struggling again. You can see that people aren't happy down there. Fans are obviously moaning because they feel that their club should be doing a lot better, which it probably should. Everything there is set up for them to be in the higher level and pushing to get out of League One, and at the moment for the last few years they've been struggling around in League Two. So something obviously needs to be changed down there. I don't know what. You only know when you're sort of in amongst it. But from afar, it doesn't seem to be working. John's gone in, tried to steady the ship. Like you say, did very well last year in his time, and this year it's not working again. They've got a lot of injuries. Players have come in, maybe not performed as people would have liked. So it's a shame. I don't like seeing them down where they are, but obviously when we end up playing against them, my job's for Cheltenham, and it's to earn 3 points for Cheltenham Town. So after tomorrow's game, if we got our 3 points, then I wish them all the best and hope they can turn it around.
Yeah, I think John Ward's spoken about it publicly. He did actually speak to you in the summer, didn't he, about maybe going back there. Was that tempting because of your history there, and obviously?
Oh yeah, of course. I've probably come close maybe twice under Paul Buckle as well. I had a good conversation with him, but it just hasn't been right. I always said I'd love to go back, but it would have to be for the right reasons, and I wouldn't want to go back just for the sake of it. I did it probably when I left Colchester to go for Norwich. In my heart, really ruled myself, and I ended up going back there, and it probably wasn't the right decision, and I didn't want that to happen again. So yeah, we had a conversation in the summer. I spoke to the chairman as well, Nick Higgs, and it just wasn't right. And coming here, when I spoke to the gaffer here, it seemed right, and that was why I signed. And yeah, it was very tempting. Like I say, I'd love to play for him again, and it just hasn't been, the timing not been right, or just the situation of from speaking to them just hasn't felt right. So I've had to move on, and I'm happy here, and hopefully I'll have a good season, and we will, and hopefully they'll do the same.
Yeah, it's 5 unbeaten in the league now, and the messages he's given to us is that he wants a settled side now and give people a chance rather than chopping and changing all the time. Do you think that could be the key to sort of improve, keeping this run going?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've probably the same 11's played for a little while now. I think the performances have been improving. Definitely, I think we've done well. If you take the cup game out of it, I think the 5 league games, I think from the previous 5 we've improved a lot. Even Saturday with a 0-0. Probably 2 months ago we'd have lost that game. So it's shown that we've come a long way, and we were disappointed that we didn't win it. And I think that was against a very good team. They surprised me. I thought Newport were a good side, and We come in and we had a few half chances. A bit disappointed I maybe didn't take one of them. And I think that shows how far we've come, because they're a team in the playoffs, pushing, doing very well. And I thought we held our own against them, and like I say, could have come away with something. Definitely a win. So yeah, we've improved, and I think a settled side does help. Sometimes we have changed it a fair bit, but it's down to the players. They have to perform for the manager to keep them in the team. We've got a lot of players not playing that want to be in the team. So we're pushing ourselves as much as possible to stay in the team and keep performing and keep winning.
Yeah, it's a big difference to early in the season where it looked like you had to score a few to get a point, or to win a game or even get a point, but now it looks like you're keeping it tight, and you always got a chance. If you're 0-0 at half time, you did really improve in the second half and looked like you were the more likely winners, didn't you? Even though they had the one hit the post. But
yeah, definitely. I think that's what we've said from the start of the season, when we were conceding a lot, that if we just stay in games, we've got enough in the side to create chances and score goals, and I think we've now started to do that. Chances against us aren't being created as much as they were. We're defending very well as a unit, and we're still creating. So that's sort of recipes for winning games of football, and I think if we can keep the consistency now of keeping teams out, staying in games as long as possible, our football comes through, and hopefully we'll score a lot more than the opposition and start winning games. And it has been very good, I have to say. I've been pleased with the form that we've shown, and there's a real good confidence in the side, and hopefully now we can keep this going. If we can have a real good end of this month and a real good December, then come the turn of the year, we should be there or thereabouts, and it gives us something to really chase.
Yeah, are you still travelling with Steve from Bristol? Because he's come through a patch where he probably didn't want to be left out, but now 2.5 games in, Cheltenham have only conceded 1 goal in that time. It looks like it has been beneficial. So have you sort of spoken to him about that as the only other sort of senior players? It's a young bunch, but
he's the only one close to me. I suppose we had a chat through travelling in. I mean, he was disappointed that he got left out. I think he realised he probably wasn't performing to the standards that he'd set. I mean, he set such high standards here. He's for some reason it just wasn't working for him, and he wasn't performing. So I think he took it as he's an experienced pro. He accepted things weren't working out. He accepted that he was left out, and to be fair, he's kept his head down, worked very hard, and he's waited for his chance. And managers give him it, and I think he's been great. He's probably been our best player the last 2 games, without a doubt. And the sort of 45 he come on at Tamworth is probably our best player. So that's what you want. You want players that if they do have disappointments and get left out, that they respond. And Stevie's responded in the right way, and that's been training hard. Now he's got his chance performing, and he is staying inside the side now, and he knows that. And I think young players could learn, a lot from that. That you're going to get left out. Form isn't always going to be on your side, and it's a case of if you do have a bad dip in form, that you come back from it. And at Steve's age, he could have maybe thought, I'll sit back and wait for my chance, and not really try. But he's worked his socks off. He's been in the gym working hard, and he's got his rewards again, and I'm really pleased for him.
Yeah, has there been a time where someone said to you, purely because of your age, that you need a rest, or you need to come out of the team, or you're looking a bit tired? Or because that some people just look at the age rather than actually looking at the performances, and might just assume that somebody needs a rest?
Definitely. I think when you get to a certain age, probably in your sort of early 30s and beyond, your age can get pulled up a fair bit. I've tried to, I've probably had rows with people about it, that don't worry about my age, I'm fit, and I can keep playing. And I think sometimes, especially with the week we've got with a Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, some people might look at football, maybe we'll rest you or do this, but I've said to the gaffer from day one coming in that I can play, it's not a problem. I can do the minutes on the pitch, and it's down to the manager to probably trust you and you to be honest. And there is times when you do feel you're a bit tired, and maybe you could do with coming off or having a bit of a break. But I'd rather break in training rather than matches, and I'd rather maybe have a day off in training extra, or a bit lighter session, and just be ready for a weekend. But it can be held against you, definitely, but I think nowadays people are playing a lot longer, and I think management are starting to understand that even if you are a bit older, you can still cope with it. And I think if you're with a manager that trusts you, then it helps. And the gaffer's been great with me, I have to say. He's looked after me greatly. We've had our little bits and bobs when he's brought me off a bit early when I didn't want to, but in his head he's doing it for the right reasons. And I think if you get to a certain age, if you've got a manager that trusts you and looks after you, then he can, hopefully I can play a lot longer because of that.
Yeah, and when you do have the little arguments or disagreements about it, he said at the fans forum, I think you always, straight after the game, it's fine, isn't it? It's never an issue with it.
No, definitely. I think sometimes I've even gone straight up to him and apologised. It's not meant in a bad way. I think he knows that. It's just I want to play all the time, and sometimes I get frustrated that if I'm getting brought off and I think, well, no, there's a goal here, or I'm still fine. I don't feel tired. And obviously the manager looks at it as a longer term, not just of that game. He looks at there's a game on Saturday and we want to rest you. So yeah, but I've been like that all my career. Even at a young age, I've never wanted to come off. I want to play all the time, and it's my job, and I love doing it. So I probably didn't apologise as much. I just used to have a rant and a moan at the manager. But now I've understood that you come off and you support your team. And then, like I say, we've had a few laughs about it. I had a little moan up at Wickham, but that's just me. But we get on with it, and I think the manager would rather that than me be happy coming off and accepting it. But yeah, we're fine. Like I say, it's all good banter at the end of the game. And I said the only time I'd probably be happy to come off if I got a hat trick in the bag, and I'd say okay, maybe then I'll come off. But like I say, I'm never happy. But it's just me.
Yeah, right, brilliant.